Happy May Day. If you don't know what May Day is the day that internationally is a Labor Day. It's the day that everyone celebrates the advocacy for a 5-day work week. Imagine that. 1886. Advocacy. So over 100 years ago, right? And in that process, we have received a 5-day work week, a 40-hour week, all the advocacy that other people have done. And since that time has been eroded away to the point that now May Day, the day for labor, has become a day to spit on labor. To say the freedom that we once provided teachers to choose to be a part of their union, no more. No more. Well, Senate Bill 1296 says, if you want to have a union, if you want to have the contract, you're going to have to pay for it. But part of the issue of a right to work state was you didn't have to pay for it in the past. So it's almost like forcing fees that the Janus case overturned. It's really odd. There's got to be some legal argument there. I'm not a lawyer, but I did say at a Holiday Inn Express. But the idea really is that May Day is the day that all the things that we get to enjoy that we think just magically, deliciously happened were fought for. It was one of those main occasions. And everywhere in the world, today people are celebrating that, except for the United States, Australia, which have their own Labor Day at a different time. This really brings about some serious concerns because think about it. If the intent is to not have workers' rights in public institutions, do you think that they're going to stop when it comes to private institutions after this? Once somebody speaks up and speaks opposite of what power wants right now, they're not going to get carved out. That's why you have police and firefighter carved out of this bill. They'll try to say, oh, they can't keep up with the paperwork or they're so busy and they're essential. You want to know what's more essential than anything, really? Teachers. I mean, it's the future. It is avoiding the police actions by properly educating children and giving them the tools to be successful later in life. But there's a false narrative that's being made right now. And the false narrative is this. They want that teacher salary increase allocation in your pocket as soon as possible because you need that money. Well, let's take a look at the case study, which was this past year. We didn't do it. We said we were using it as leverage, which is what's called good negotiations. Look at anything, like whether you're trying to negotiate the end of a war or negotiate a contract, whatever it is, you use leverage. And at this point in time, the leverage that we had was the teacher salary increase allocation because we knew that there was a way to provide more dollars for salary. Now, listen, this is not a blame game. This is not saying that Leon County Schools is nefarious in some ways. I think a lot of it is that we're using old processes and still doing them now and learning from those processes. So that's a good thing. That is a good thing. We're making progress because we even had the conversation this week with the superintendent. Like, let's make sure that if we're over budgeting, underspending, that we align these a lot better moving forward and that the dollars are available. But here's what happened when we did not accept the TISA and we fought for more money and went to impasse, okay? It's in a clear sign that the state's historic raises are really historic rhetoric. Number one, because they voted it down for the first time at any point in time, the ratification for the TISA money. Our educators said it's not enough. As a result, there is now $3.8 million in the economy of Leon County because not only did the teachers get a 2% raise, the support staff got a 2% raise in LESPA and 1010, and then the exempt employees just got a 1% increase. Now, these are not percentages to be doing cartwheels about. We get that part. But the point is it's more than what the other side originally had offered. And that is what a negotiations is. They want to strip us of that. They want to say that teacher salary increase allocation, which is like a Happy Meal a week, that's pretty much what's coming in this next budget too. If you look at either one of them that they haven't even done, which is their only constitutional responsibility is pass a budget, but we're playing all these other funsy games, right? But that is where we can do some good stuff by negotiating. But then they're saying it has to be paid, like you got to get the TISA money out or go to impasse like in July. Okay, we'll go to impasse in July, because how are we supposed to even ratify something that people aren't even on contract for? The people aren't even on contract. Their contract starts the first day of school. So how are you supposed to ratify something that they're not even employed at that point in time? It's not their contracted time. Make it make sense. It's all part of a bigger issue of, let's call it what it is. The powers that be continually talk about Chicago and California and other unions that have nothing to do with the state of Florida, as if there's some boogeyman waiting in the corner. And they use those examples, those false correlations, to then justify being counterproductive. They want to sell you that they are doing a good job, and they will say anything to do so. And the people that are a part of it, you're going to have to ask them, like board member Lori Cox. Why did you advocate for this when you had a contract, our contract, and benefited from it, as in two employees on the same health care, so it was less, right? She and her husband. And then you have the commissioner come in and say things about other people's salary, but you forget that your own husband had a 6-figure salary within the district. But yet now the district is not doing the right thing. Make it make sense. It is a slap in the face of every educator that works under the current contract that a sitting school board member would actively work against their rights and their ability to meet the needs of their students. It's unacceptable. And there is no justification. Stop listening to the words that people are saying and start paying attention to their actions. Because the signing of that bill, Senate Bill 1296, on May Day is basically telling you to go kick rocks as a working person in this state of Florida. That they want their profits and their funneling of voucher money out and the lack of accountability that goes with it, feel good, scratch the itch, whatever you want to call it, that is going to be more important than making sure that every child has a great teacher in their classroom. And there's all this kind of rhetoric around how do we do that? You know what you do? You pay people what they're worth and what you want them to do. That's how you do it. You solve it that way. But when you don't want to pay for something, you pay for what you get, right? And you're driving people out of public education. There are so many teachers right now in Leon County schools, probably a teacher that you love, that's going, I'm going to retire early. Oh, wait, oops. Think I got another job here in town. You know what? I'm going to go teach in another state. All because of it's neglect. It is just unfathomable where we got and how we got where we are. And the God's honest truth is, this guy ain't going to be able to save you. No board or representative group's going to be able to save you. We are going to have to save ourselves. You are going to have to choose. Do you want a contract? Are you willing to spend 1% of your salary to save 99% of your salary to protect it? Are you? Because if you're not, and you have, what they'll do is they'll try to go like, oh, they're using all this money for political reasons, and they've got this political advocacy. Yeah, about getting teachers paid so that we keep good teachers. I mean, about doing a better job on the certification process so that teachers don't have to spend massive amounts of money out of pocket. Oh, how about this? Maybe we have certified teachers, so you like build up colleges of education and stop just bashing what's going on in public education. I know that we can do this, but I cannot do it. You have to start believing it. You have to stop listening to the noise. You have to stop listening to the people that tell you, hey, guess what? You get all the benefits for free, but you don't even have to pay into it. That is the old system that this legislature ripped out from underneath you. And I would argue that our organization here in town, we're not California, we're not Chicago. We're not anybody else but our own, because a union is made up of the individuals that are a part of their union. And in so, we have done amazing work to make sure that people are respected. We had a teacher that wanted to work remotely because her husband had cancer. We advocate so that that person can work from home when they can work from home. Not that they do it all the time, but there should be some pockets. That shows that you care about the people that are taking care of the children and their families, right? And then, I know what the leverage also got? Free childcare, 5 days of parental leave buyback, things that are beneficial to everybody. But they want to say, it's all political. Meanwhile, the one case that they want to go ahead and make a big deal out that happened out at Deer Lake was not taken up by the Supreme Court, because the facts are the facts. It didn't happen the way that they're trying to spin it. It's just the way that it works. But if you are a union member right now and you are not having daily conversations to save your contract and getting other educators to understand what it's going to take, not just now, not just for the contract, but in August and November when the elections come up, to vote your job, because they're going to try and make you vote for a bunch of stuff that sounds really good, but I'm going to go back to it. It's not what you hear, it should be what you see. And what we see is a bunch of rhetoric. What we see is a bunch of made up stuff. What we see is lies in action. And what we see is an apathetic group of educators that don't necessarily understand what is on the line necessarily, and will find every excuse not to protect 99% of their salary by investing 1%. And quite honestly, it's a choice. No one is telling you what you need to do. See, this whole idea, I remember when I got this job, when I was elected 10 years ago, and the first law passed that said membership had to be a certain size, at certain type or place. I'm not the salesperson. I didn't go into sales because I don't want to sell people things they don't need. What I want to do, and what I think most of us want to do, is find purpose in what we do. And then make that purpose something that we share with others and say, this is what we care about, this is why. Oh my gosh, I care about that too. Let me come and join you. Because that's what it is. It's not what they make it out to be. And the real problem about all that is the concern that I have for the kids that don't get to start their school year with the same teacher that they end their school year with. About the kids that don't get the services that they deserve. About the kids that you only get one childhood and you only get one developmental time like this to be able to improve. And we know statistically one bad year takes 3 years to make up. How far behind do we want our children to be? Recent studies had said that was presented in the Congress, said that cognitive skills of our children, their ability to process, is less than what we are able to do for the first time in a generation. Yes, some of it is electronics, some of it is screen time, some of it is AI. But it's the undermining of our public institutions and our public education for this idea of something that you're being sold snake oil. And I just hope, and we will fight for, what is right to make sure that our actions match our words. I'll leave you this one example of where our actions match our words. At this point in time, social workers in Leon County schools, there are 20 school sites, about 20, that will use part of their budget to hire a social worker to work at those schools. Okay? 3 other social workers are expected now to work at 25 other schools that did not choose to get their own social worker. That's wrong. That's inequity. That's a system that needs to find a better way to meet the needs of all the children, not when a principal decides to invest in a social worker. So site-based decision-making is part of Leon County Schools, but the umbrella of Leon County Schools is required to take care of every child. So services like social workers should be distributed evenly and provided equal case loads so that they can meet the needs of the students that they have. And we're advocating for that. Sounds real nefarious, right? Get rid of the union. Oh, another one. We're talking right now about going back to school and planning and how important planning is to start the school year right. We have contract language, for as long as we have the contract, that protects it and says only 12 hours can be used during pre-planning over a 5-day period for meetings. Everything else is supposed to be independent so you can get ready for students. Pretty good, right? Because we want to be ready for students. And we're working with the school district to find more PD days because we want to modify the calendar for that, because we understand the importance of that as well. But we're having conversations now proactively so that the beginning of next year runs smoothly. Sounds real nefarious again. Get rid of the union. Oh, wait, a teacher was given extra classes and work to do back in January. And that person is now being told that they can't be paid anymore. Meanwhile, 2 other teachers were given additional pay as adjunct teachers in the same role. Disparate treatment. So we want equal treatment. Sounds real nefarious. Today's May Day. Remember that. Remember what it means when you get to clock out at the end of the day and enjoy a weekend. Thank a union member for that. Thank a union advocate for that. And join your union, because they want all of it. And it doesn't look like they're going to stop until they get it. So once we go ahead and reach 60%, once we get and maintain our contract, what do you think is going to happen to the laws? They're going to change them again and raise the bar until they get what the Freedom Foundation advocate said during committee meeting. We want to eliminate all public unions. I don't know how much more clear you need to hear it. They're not stopping. So join.